Hi everyone, welcome to goldfries, and here's another casing review, and with me is the Abkoncore 610S, which is a very budget-oriented casing that retails at just Rm179. Let's start with the design. First things first, it comes with, surprise surprise, acrylic panel instead of glass. Not a bad thing. The acrylic here is not the most clear type of acrylic. It looks tinted, and when it's installed, or actually when you look through it, it's like as if there's a double vision kind of thing. Not exactly the most attractive, but I like that it's acrylic, because tempered glass, they're so fragile, they can break. And acrylic, while they are prone to scratch and such, I just love having acrylic because it is something that I don't have to worry at all when I'm coming to move casings around. So moving on, I'm going to put it one side. So let's look at the casing itself. I'm going to turn it over here. Actually, under the light it looks better. Okay, front grille is, I like that the front is like this. It actually has RGB strips over here with various color modes. Over here, the casing looks sufficiently big, and you can see there's a cutout over here. It comes with a 140 mm exhaust fan. That's something I feel like not commonly seen at casing of this price point. Typically it's 120 mm fans, but it's not an RGB fan. I'm fine. 140 mm non-RGB fan. In fact, I think it's a good touch because non-RGB, it doesn't conflict with anything. And then it has a nice PSU shroud cover from back to front with mounting holes. You can mount things there. Even over here, there are cutouts which are great for cable management and linking up the USB cables and audio cables and such. Over towards the front side, let's see whether the light gets to it. Okay, you can see that there are holes here for the mounting of drives. And speaking of drives, a quick walkthrough of this unit shows you that. Now this is the underside. You can say underside, okay. Underside of the motherboard tray. In terms of cable management space, it's very little, very unforgiving of this side. Let's say if you want to put ATX cables and whatnot, it has, based on what I see here, barely 2 centimeters, probably a little over 1 centimeter of clearance, which is very little. Which is why I recommend using flat type cables for this setup. Fortunately, even Abkoncore's entry-level power supply does come with flat type cables. Now you should check out my other video for that. And then over here you see that over at the bottom here, two drive cages, and then over the front there is some clearance space for you to manage your cables. So hopefully it's enough for you. And that's pretty much it. The back, they're using I think it's I don't know, I don't like this kind of lock. Many brands have this. I call it a primitive type of lock, which you secure it and then you can secure again, which I find it pointless. But at least, even if I don't use it, I still can secure it. I guess it's alright. And then, yeah, on the top, let's go with the top then. It has a magnetic dust filter at the top, and the bottom there's also dust filter for the power supply. So that's pretty much it. It's a very simple casing with RGB LED strip, one fan over here. The front has no fan, but it's actually customizable, meaning you can put radiator if you want to. And you can mount rads at the top as well. It's just that your casing will likely be in contact with the radiator and fan on the top. So it's likely that the top portion you'll be using it just for fan, but you can actually put radiators at the back or the front over here. So with that done, let's have a look at my build. And we are back, and this is my build, and I am quite impressed with the Cronos 610S here. Let's start from the obvious front. The RGB LED strip over here is it's not that bright, but it's sufficient. It's actually good looking because it does not shout the color at people. I like that. And then it has various modes for you to change from as I click through this the button over here, which allows you to toggle the color modes. As you can see, it's actually changing along, and you can actually off it. But I think having the colors around to match your theme, it actually looks nice. For example, if I were to choose this color, so definitely a great touch from Abkoncore for this part. All looks good. The color is connected using a 4-pin Molex connector, however. And next up, this the experience of installing it. I like it so much because on the motherboard tray, even on the top side and the bottom, there's sufficient cutouts for you to route the cables around, so you wouldn't have any issue. A lovely touch on that. Overall, I have no complaints about this casing. In fact, opening up the back over here, or should I say the other side, you can see that the cables, let me turn it around. I have no problem having all the cables placed at the back. The casing, I can close it effortlessly. I'm using Abkoncore's 10G power supply here, which is non-modular, but it has flat type of cables, even for the ATX power. So it's all good. As in, the casing itself, while seemingly not having much space, but using the right type of power supply, for example, this one where it has flat type cables, management is not an issue. You can see even my drive is installed over here at the front. Then there's also ample area for you to hide your cables if you ever need to. So at RM179, I'd say, oops, I must have triggered the power. But regardless, this is a nice casing. I must have triggered something. As you can see, the lights are on and off. It wasn't like that earlier, but I probably triggered something. Overall, it's the Cronos 610S at RM179 is definitely a casing I would recommend. Did I mention to you this? I did mention to you. It's on the floor right now. Oops. The acrylic panel will come to the front like this, which is not bad at all. You still can see it through. It's just that double vision thing that I mentioned is when you observe it closely, but on the camera view right now, actually it looks perfect, meaning that if you're aiming to have this for showcase, definitely it looks good. Just make sure that your acrylic is not scratched. So overall, great stuff from Abkoncore. Since I have no particular complaints about this product, I'm giving it a gold badge, simply because for what it is. Modding ability, I mean, okay, let's start from the appearance. Appearance-wise, it looks great. I like that. In terms of modding ability, meaning that whether this casing is something that you can consider having some mods on, yes, it's very good as well. Considering the simple front, and it has a power supply shroud here covering from back to front, that opens a lot of room for this case modding. For performance parts, yes, I believe you can too. There are mounting points on the power supply cover, and you can, since it's at low price and doesn't come with additional fans and such, you can modify to whatever performance to your heart's content. Just that on the top, there's not too much clearance for you to put radiator, but this is what you can expect from casing at this price point. Design-wise, as in for cable management and all that, it's good as well. I'm pretty surprised that many cheap casings do not consider all these things, but I like it that I'm probably going to trip the power again. Cutouts on top too, which is great for fans and cable routing from the insides to the back here, 2 more cutouts at the front, and 2 more cutouts at the bottom. So really good stuff. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and do remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Bye bye.